I just helped this player completely transform his defense in college football 26 by simply switching to the new best defensive playbook in the game. If you're tired of having no coverage shells to lock down with or blitzes get home after the quarterback in a hurry, this is going to be the perfect video for you because I'm breaking down my brand new 425 defensive ebook. I guarantee you by the end of this video you're going to have something that can actually help you in your next game, so don't skip out on anything I'm breaking down today. Let's jump right into it. The first thing that you need to master with this defensive playbook is actually the best settings to use. Let me show you. Alright, so we're going to press the right stick in on defense to open our coaching adjustments, and I'm going to give you a full breakdown of what are the best coaching adjustments you need to make sure that you're using here with this playbook. So, auto flip, you want to make sure that this is on like 95% of the time. Very rarely would I call this or turn this off here. Really what this does is it allows you to control which side your slot corner comes out on, which some people say gives you more control. They like that, but if you guess wrong, like you call a play and you put your slot corner on the wrong side, especially if you come into like cover 3, if you come into like match coverage, so if you come into cover 9 show 2 or cover 6 and you have your slot corner wrong, it's going to mess up how your defense is going to play. If you come to cover 3 cloud, same thing, your alignment on defense isn't going to be as good, right? So you just want to make sure that you have it on so the EA controls where your slot corner comes out because they get it right all the time. So you really never want to turn that off. Cornerback matchup and defensive motion response, you want to make sure that these are balanced and disabled respectively because you want to make sure that your guys don't misalign when the offense no huddle. So if we come into any play here, the first time you call it, it's going to be perfectly fine, but when they no huddle, your guys are going to try to realign if they motion or by speed or by height, really whatever you have it set to. And obviously I'm simulating what it would look like, but your guys before the snap, they're going to line up based on whatever you have it set to, but then when the ball's actually snapped, you're just going to notice how it's going to be super easy for the offense to have an easy completion, right? Because they're trying to match up by whatever you have it set to. So maybe we put our outside receiver here on a slot fade, and now we just have an easy completion out there if number 1 wasn't amazing. But it's my point being, now your guys are lined up across the field. If they just throw a shriek, this is going to be an easy completion, right? You just notice how, this over here is a dot. There's no one over here in the flat, so this is an easy completion because, again, this guy, he's trying to come all the way across the field to guard it, but it's he's going to have absolutely no chance. So really you want to make sure that you have those first 3 settings correct so that your guys actually line up in the right spots on defense because, again, anything else I really show you in this video is not going to matter if your guys are in the wrong spots. But next, we want to make sure that we have our RPO pass key, here on conservative so that we can focus on pass coverage with our RPOs, all right? And then we want to make sure that we have our curl flats on 5 here. Safety depth and close and pinch, something that was very popular pretty much all year, but the more I play, the more a lot of people play, the more we kind of realize that this isn't really necessary because defending the seam isn't too terribly hard, right? You don't necessarily need your safeties to be that close. It can get you beat over the top really easily, and if you really want to defend a seam pass, you can just leave a default hook on the field and they're going to drop to 10 yards to help take away that deeper pass. So really it's not really necessary to have your safety depth and close, right, when you can just use a default 10-yard hook and he's going to do a great job of that, right? If you do use your safety depth and close, right, maybe in the red zone you could certainly do that because you're not necessarily scared of getting beat over the top, but it's also when you switch stick, you're going to get switch stick under your safeties all the time, and you see how Ryan Williams there is wide open because I pulled my safety out of position. I can't tell you how many touchdowns, big games I've given up this year because I had my safeties too close to the line of scrimmage and I accidentally switched stick onto them when I'm really just trying to get onto this slot corner right here, pulling this number 3 safety out of position, and this is a huge dot on the sideline or a touchdown. So really those are the best defensive settings that you need to make sure you have locked in, truly understand what they do because they're going to make everything else I show you in this video that much better. Alright, now that you have the best defensive settings locked in, let me show you a great glitch blitz to actually get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry. Alright, so we're going to come here into 3-5 penny here, and our play is going to be pinch blitz 0, right? And so this is going to be very similar to 3-3 cub, right? The great thing about this playbook is, again, it's similar to like the 4-3 multiple, the 3-2-6 playbook, and so it's just like you're trying to just use the plays that you actually have at your disposal, using the same concepts that work great in other defenses, then applying them to this one right here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to shift our defensive line to the left. We're going to drop our outside linebacker here into a curl flat, and we're going to make sure we're standing in the right spot so that we can D-pad switch shake onto this curl flat man out here and be able to just walk in the backfield completely untouched. So what we're going to do is stand about 2 yards over the left shoulder of the center right here, number 72. And so when the ball snaps, we're just going to press our D-pad to the right, like I said, to switch. So boom, take it, D-pad switch, and that's what creates this easy 4-on-3 overload advantage. Again, this is 5-on-5, but you have basically 4 guys on the left side of their offensive line, only 1 guy over here, and so now this guy, number 75, was supposed to block this edge rusher. Now he goes to double team. So they're allocating basically an unnecessary resource when this guy could really, everyone could slide over one and block this, guy who comes in free. But it's like, especially if you catch them off guard or they don't know this is coming, or sometimes even if they set pass protection, it just doesn't work versus this because you're just overloading one side of the offensive line. So again, dropping this guy into a curl flat, pressing RB, right stick up to pass commit, and so now again you're just gonna press your D-pad to the right, switch it out here, and you're gonna do a great job. Boom, completely flying free, and we're going to easily just be able to sack the quarterback. So not hard at all. Actually really, really easy to just be able to set this up. But again, the key is where you're standing with your user, because again, if you stand like right here, now the guard's going to block you. So it's really important that you're, certainly dropping into a curl flat, pressing RB, right stick up to pass commit, but then making sure you're standing in the right spot with your user. No blitz is going to work every time. Some guys will get tripped up, or sometimes they will get tripped up. So it's like, but you just want to make sure that you're giving yourself the best chance on every single play to walk in free, which is exactly what setting up like this will do for you. Also, if they decide to block their running back, right, so that could be an answer that they have, or their tight end, really it's going to be the same thing, because you're just going to push your way into the quarterback just like this. So RB, right stick up the pass commit, boom, take the snap, and if they decide to block their running back, drop this safety right here into a zone. So you could put him into like a mid-read, an inside third, just something to where now you could just press D-pad up. And so now what you're going to notice is I'm over the middle, and this is what I tell you guys all the time, where it's like running backs are going to struggle at the point of attack versus edge rushers, defensive ends, and linebackers, simply because they're just little, right? So he just pushes away, quick shed, sack fumble, and so I'm over the middle of the field, like I said, to defend anything over the middle, like the crosser, and then I also still have my curl flat right here, who's going to do a great job of taking away like a crossing route to Ryan Williams here. So overall, this overload blitz here from 3-5 penny, very similar to what we're able to do from 3-3 cub in the 4-3 multiple playbook, just from a different formation, giving them a different look here, and still having the same opportunity to do a lot of the same things and get really quick pressure. But again, making sure you're dropping this man into a curl flat, making sure you're standing in the right spot with your user, and making sure you're shifting your defensive line in the correct direction. Alright, so if you found this breakdown helpful thus far of the 4-2-5 playbook, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down college football tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and we're going to be doing the same thing when college football 27 drops in just a few weeks. So I'm really the best channel to watch and take daily tips from. So what are you thinking? Go down below, hit that subscribe button. But if you want my full 4-2-5 defensive ebook to help you transform your defense over these next few weeks and truly get ready to dominate on day 1 of 27, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join CF University, where you can get your first month for 20% off when you use code YouTube at checkout. It has that 4-2-5 defense and updated meta tips to again help you get better over these next few weeks and truly hit the ground running. So I highly recommend you check it out, and let's jump right back into the video. Because now you have the best settings and you have a great glitch blitz to use here from this 4-2-5 playbook, but if you can't stop the run, none of it's going to matter. Let me show you the best and easiest run defense here from this 4-2-5 playbook. Alright, so we're going to come into mid-blitz here. Excuse me, we're coming to mid-blitz 0 here from nickel double mug. This is going to be great. This automatic run defense against inside zone, against halfback base, against Owen trap, really any inside run. This is going to really work well against. When they start going with outside runs, which might be their next counter, you need to change up the defense using some of the other concepts that I talked about actually in the ebook. But inside runs are very easy to stop because they're the most common. All you need to do is take the A-gap rusher here that's opposite the halfback. So since the halfback is on the right side here, I'm going to take this guy Jefferson and move him over the center. Basically, right in between the 7 and the 2 on his jersey, that's where you want to stand with your user. Because what you're going to notice is now there's going to be a flame icon over the head of this linebacker right here for you to have this easy automatic run defense. If I'm standing over here, you see how the flame icon's over the head of this edge rusher? But as soon as I, move right over this guy, right now I can just run down and then tackle this guy in the backfield just like that. And it's going to be really, really easy for you to do every single time. So again, take this guy, stand right here, and run down. And you're going to notice how this computer is basically just going to be able to make this tackle in the backfield time and time again. What I will say about this, just labbing it up and running it in games, it's not like he's going to make that tackle 10 out of 10 times. He might make it 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. But this is a coin flip game, so really they could get lucky and back-to-back times they're able to break that tackle. So what you want to do with your user is make sure that you're clicking onto that linebacker every single time to dive tackle him and put the most control in the hands of your user. And so what I mean by that is, boom, we're going to take this out, I'm going to click on and I'm going to dive tackle Jam Miller immediately. Now, you could still miss because your user could miss, but that's user error instead of you getting unlucky and getting cheated. So if I'm going to miss, I'd rather my user just miss than EA just screw me over. So you're just going to see how I still run down right here to the center. That opens up room for this guy to just walk in free, and then I click onto him, and then I press X on Xbox or Square on PlayStation to cut out the legs of the ball carrier and prevent him from being able to speed boost or get into a tackle battle with me. So really, really easy stuff because running mid-blitz is not good run defense. It's just not, because they can just easily just cut through that gap and turn that into easy, first down yardage every single time. But as soon as you move your user over right here, I mean, this is some like wizard stuff here where now you're able to retarget the blocks of the offensive line, walking complete free, and really do a great job of tackling that ball carrier in the backfield just like that. I mean, it really doesn't get any easier than that. There's really not anything else to break down. Again, if you are struggling to dive tackle, just let the computer make the play and live with the few times that they actually miss. But I would say most of the time you're just going to be able to tackle this guy as long as this guy has a great tackle rating, and you're going to be able to bring him to the ground. So stopping inside zone, base, trap, a lot of these inside runs in this game, this automatic run defense here from nickel double, mid blitz 0, retargeting the offensive line to put a flame icon over the head of your linebacker is going to be really, really easy for you to be able to stop. Alright, before I jump to those final 2 plays that you're absolutely not going to want to miss here in College Football 26 from this 425 playbook, I wanted to once again remind you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. I'm still breaking down College Football 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have, because when 27 drops, we're going to be going absolutely crazy with the tips and tricks to help you guys win more games. So what are you thinking? Go down below, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump to those final 2 plays from this 425 playbook. And I understand that not everyone has fast fingers and you want to have a simple defense to be able to make adjustments from. Let me show you a simple coverage shell here from this 425 playbook. Alright, so like I just said, I understand not everyone wants to, have fast fingers, make a whole bunch of adjustments. So what we're going to do here is come into cover 3 cloud from nickel over, and we're going to make sure that we have our zone drop curl flats on 5 yards. Alright, and so really what we're going to do, they're going to be in a random pass play. And so here's what I always tell people: you can't get away with not making adjustments fast on defense and not switch sticking. You really just have to kind of, pick your struggle here. And so you have to either master switch stick or master quick adjustment. So clearly here, I'm going to master switch stick because I'm not going to make any adjustments. All I'm really going to do is press RB, right stick up to pass commit, which is going to make my sheds, better for my defensive linemen. But other than that, you're just really just relying on your user ability and your switch stick ability all in one here. So we're going to have them take the snap, and I'm kind of just reading their route concept to see where I need to be. You notice how on that play, there wasn't really anything for me to switch stick onto. All I had to do was jump out here. I saw that, okay, maybe I'm over here, but then I immediately see this guy's running over the ball route. So I make a beeline over here to take this away, and if they throw that, that's probably a pick six, right? I mean, I could have probably switched stick onto my outside corner to take away this flat. If they wanted to hit it, cool, you come up, make a tackle. So it's like you're in zone coverage, so it's going to be hard and difficult for you to really defend every blade of grass. So you could always nitpick, but it's going to be about the offensive player that you're playing against actually hitting the read. But what we're going to see right here is, again, we're just, switching around, taking away their route, come down, take away that crosser, and if they want to throw it, it's an interception. So really, the point here is you have to always be reading their play, like visualizing their play art as soon as the ball snaps. You can't be like staring down, just like guarding nothing. You need to be looking at all the receivers, seeing how the play's kind of developing so that you can see exactly where you need to switch stick in order to take these routes away. So again, boom, I know what play this is. I'm able to do a great job of taking away that crosser, and maybe I wanted to take away that wheel route. So it's like sometimes you're going to have to switch stick more than once, and there's levels to switch stick. You're not going to be, perfect at it. I can certainly even be better here, because it's just like you get better with it the more you do it and the more that you play. But the concept that all the top players use with the switch stick is just visualizing and seeing what type of route concept they're calling. I see a motion here. I might want to switch stick, right, to take away this quick flat. Boom, that's what I do. Take that away, take away this corner, and now I come down. Like, that's textbook switch stick defense. See a motion, jump out there, then come back up and take that away. So it's really like that's what you're doing here, regardless of the route concept, regardless of the play that they have called. You're just trying to jump out here, switch stick, do a good job of forcing them to move their second and third read, and then really do a great job of relying on your pass rush to finish the job and get the quarterback on the ground. So if I was, a beginner here, didn't know how to switch stick, you're again flicking your right stick in the direction of the player that you want to switch onto, but also making sure that you're getting here in practice mode, working on your switch stick by spying off the pass rush. And so now when they go to snap the ball, you're really first going to have to defend their initial play. So you're going to have to switch it around. But eventually, since there's no pass rush, these guys are going to start route bouncing down the field. And your job is to really make sure that at no point could they throw any of these passes. So this is going to take really great switch stick recognition to be able to guard all this across the field and, do a great job. But just, again, making sure at no point could they throw any of these passes. So eventually, you're going to throw the ball away when they just start sitting down and not moving anymore. But that's really what you have to do here. This is a very simple defense. No adjustments other than pass committing. But you're really going to work on your switch stick ability to take away these routes down the field, and then when they start route bouncing, really doing a great job with just control. I know if I flick my right stick here, this is who it's going to switch me onto, and that's overall just going to help this simple defense become even better because your user's going to be better and your switch stick is as well. Alright, the last thing that you absolutely need to master here on defense from this 4-2-5 playbook is actually being able to get stops in the red zone. Let me show you the best red zone defense that you need to make sure you're using here from this 4-2-5 playbook. Alright, so if we come into I would do this from a cover 3 base play, so you could come into 3-5 penny. This is actually what I would recommend. 3-5 penny, come into, there it is, cover 3 buzz. Also, make sure you have a cover 2 shell turned on, because we're going to be talking about stopping RPOs here, alright? And so the reality is RPOs, some of the toughest plays to defend if you don't know they're coming, and if you don't get defense set up for them. So, this is one here from trick tight end, very common. You're just going to notice how they can throw that pass, and sometimes they're able to break tackles and score because sometimes your guys are looking into the backfield. Also, sometimes they can just hand the ball off and sometimes score. But again, you're leaving like those 2 plays, good defense, right? We were able to stop their play, but it's like when you don't do anything with your user, when you just kind of call stock cover 3 buzz or stock defense, you're not doing anything with your user, you're going to make it pretty easy for them to just hit like easy random completions and turn these into touchdowns. So it's like you really want to make sure that you're dialed in with RPO defense. And the reality is anytime they drive the ball this close to the end zone, so they're in a goal-to-go situation, you have to be thinking about RPO because that's what they're going to try to do. Right? When I'm on offense, I don't really want to drop back passes close to the end zone. I don't even really want to run the ball. I just want to just call RPOs because they're some of the lowest risk, highest reward plays, especially down here in the red zone. So what you're going to do to defend them is press a triangle or Y here and then shade underneath. So this is going to put hard flats in the field. So you're going to notice now this time, this tight end, we're going to do a much better job of defending him along with the bubble receiver, right? But the reality is that's not enough, because sometimes guys are still looking into the backfield. What I want you to notice here when I look at this replay is this is a flat zone defender, right? He's in a hard flat, just like I showed you. He's going to do a good job. Think again, because this is a RPO. So he's looking in the backfield to defend the run. So that's what makes RPO defense tough. So really what you need to do is you want to make sure that you're shading underneath. Again, to put hard flats, you're pressing RB, right stick up, to pass commit or guess past your defense. And then you also have all the possible RPO pass threats that they're manned up. So this play here from Trips tight end is really good because you have a tight end flat along with the bubble. So if I knew this play was coming, I would man up the tight end with my outside corner like this, and then I would also man up the slot receiver, who would be the inside Trips receiver like this. So now we basically have the dream defense set up for RPOs. We have our coverage shaded down from cover 3, so our slot corner and outside linebackers are in hard flats. I pressed RB right stick up to pass commit, and their guys are manned up. So I would imagine that this is going to have absolutely no chance of getting open, and I'm exactly right. But look at that. You see how they still score a touchdown there because I didn't stop the run with my user. No one was there to stop the run. I took this defender, right, and I told him, hey, I want you to, he just does a really bad job. He walks in free, but he just does a bad job. He's just not in a great angle, doesn't take a great angle. This is taken away, cool, right, the two flats here, or the flat in the bubble, lockdown, but you still give up the run. So that's the thing with RPO defense, is a lot of adjustments to set up. Basically what I need to do right here is shade underneath. I need to put, pass defense on the field, right? So I need to man up their threats, and then I need to, pass commit. But the last thing that you need to do is actually stop the run with your user, the RPO run. So all I'm going to do is just loop around, and this is going to be very, very easy defense as far as stopping the RPO run. Looping around through the gap and then dive tackling the bloke here in the backfield just like this. So again, we look at the replay. We see he's taken away. Bubble, very easy. We have two guys looking at him. Same thing over here. They're flat, taken away. He's manned up, shaded underneath, bagged. But this time now I'm actually able to loop around right here because I'm standing 4 yards over the guard on the halfback side. I loop around and I'm able to make this play in the backfield. So that's really what's important here for you with RPO defense, is actually recognizing it's an RPO because they're this close to the end zone, and that's what's likely setting up the defense, shading underneath, making all these adjustments here, pass committing your defense, but then the final step is actually looping around and making the tackle in the backfield with your user, so that now the pass and the run are both taken away. Alright, so if you found that breakdown of the 4-2-5 defensive ebook helpful here in College Football 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down College Football 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and we're still doing it here over the summer, and we're going to be doing even more of it when 27 drops. So really, this is a great channel to watch, take tips and tricks from every single day. So go down below, hit that subscribe button. But if you're serious about transforming your defense late in the year so that you can have a head start and be ready for day 1 of College Football 27, make sure you go down below in the pinned comment and join CF University, where you can get your first month for 20% off by using code YouTube at checkout. CF University has that 4-2-5 defensive ebook along with updated meta tips to help you understand and get better at the game this late in the year. And the best part is you can save everything on your phone during gameplay so that you never have to go surfing through a video like this. So really recommend you join CF University today at the link in the pinned comment. But if you want to see the offensive ebook, which pairs perfectly with this defense, check out this video right here where I break down the Oregon State playbook. I'll see you over there. Peace.